The death of John Lewis on Friday night was a very sad shock. It was to me. It was to, I'm sure, most people in this country who understand what John Lewis was all about and what he did. He was one of America's great heroes, and he was a contemporary of well, everybody who's alive today. John Lewis was your contemporary. He may have started his heroic work before you were born, but he is a great American hero. We don't have that many in this day and age, do we? But the shock and sadness of his death was compounded for me due to the fact that the orange ape in the White House decided to send one of his filthy little tweets about John Lewis's death. And even in a death tweet, this ignorant savage, Trump, you can't, I mean, his use of English is ridiculous. He tweeted after, I guess it was after finishing one of his filthy little cheating golf games on Saturday afternoon, he tweeted, quote, "Saddened to hear the news of civil rights hero John Lewis passing. Melania and I send our prayers to he and his family." To he and his family. What an ignorant slob this filthy man is. This Trump animal. Jesus. The Republican governor here, Brian Kemp, one of America's stupidest men ever to assume any kind of elected office, said that this country, quote, "will never be the same," end quote, without Representative John Lewis. The Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, said John Lewis was a titan of the civil rights movement. He may have been a titan of the civil rights movement, but I don't know. That's, to me, it's sort of like saying that. I don't know. Pick one, Mike. Joe DiMaggio, go back a generation, was a great baseball star. He was also a great American hero, right? John Lewis was not just a titan of the civil rights movement. I don't think that's why he should be remembered. That's why he's going to be remembered. But he was a titan of the idea of equal protection and equal justice under the law, and the end of treating members of our population like fourth-class citizens. Maybe that's what Nancy Pelosi meant. If so, okay. I just think people should be a little bit less focused on the specifics of John Lewis's life and career in the civil rights movement, and more focused on the overall impact of what he was working toward and who he was working for. He was working for the benefit of all of us. I just wish that we white people could stop differentiating when there is a genuine hero in our midst, somebody who rises up like John Lewis did. I don't know, maybe I'm putting too fine a point on it, but I think you understand what I'm talking about. You know, he never stopped working to improve the lives of everybody, not just black folk, not just people of color, everybody. Everybody. That's why I said in the Sunday Patreon cast that I send out to the Patreon subscribers that John Lewis was, he identified himself as a Christian, but he was much more than that. He was a follower of the Rabbi Jesus of Nazareth and what the Rabbi taught, not what these filthy evangelical thugs like this Reverend Jeffress down in Dallas, this thug. But I digress. The bipartisan tributes to Lewis began flowing late Friday evening and Saturday morning. And the Orange Ape, he didn't get involved until Saturday afternoon. He spent his morning between golfing after he got up and ate his cheeseburgers with a flurry of his older posts on Twitter, largely focused on screeching and farting and wheezing about his enemies. Once again, he slammed former Vice President Biden. He called his niece, whose recently book is an unflinching look at his filthy character, he called her a mess. He praised a guest host on the Fox Sewer television show, whatever that means. And then on Saturday afternoon, after issuing his little Boilermate proclamation, sad to hear the news of civil rights hero John Lewis. No, you weren't, you lying prick. Somebody ordered the flags to be flown Saturday at half-staff at the White House and public buildings. Jesus, I hate this man. Oh my God. Melania and I send our prayers to he and his family. You ignorant, pale savage, you orange ape. Good Lord. Now, I think anybody who's been paying attention knows that John Lewis had about as much respect for Donald Trump as you have for a bad case of the runs, right? They had a tense history. And how the ape would comment on John Lewis's passing was an open question. I know how a lot of people are going to comment on Trump's passing. If I outlive him, the day that orange bastard dies, I am going to stand up and applaud. I don't care where I am. I don't care what I'm doing as soon as I hear about it. What an evil, useless, filthy man. I will. I have no respect for somebody like Trump. And in their passing, I could give a shit. I see the planet as having been cleaned of one horrible, horrible walking demon, Donald Trump. Representative Karen Bass, a Democrat of California, had urged the ape not to comment on John Lewis's death at all. She tweeted, quote, Donald Trump, while the nation mourns the passing of a national hero, please say nothing. Please don't comment on the life of Congressman Lewis. Your press secretary released a statement. Leave it at that. Please let us mourn in peace. End quote. Three times, Representative Bass used the word please to this orange ape. Please don't say anything. Please just shut up and go pound your little white ball around your golf course. Melania and I send our prayers to he and his family. I mean, it's just... Before the orange ape was inaugurated, John Lewis questioned the legitimacy of Trump's ascension to the presidency. And if you remember, Lewis said he wouldn't be in attendance when the ape traveled to the Capitol to be sworn in. In a television interview a few days before the ape took office, John Lewis said this, quote, I think the Russians participated in helping this man get elected, and they helped destroy the candidacy of Hillary Clinton. I don't plan to attend the inauguration. It will be the first one that I miss since I've been in the Congress. You cannot be at home with something that you feel that is wrong, something that is not right, end quote. But the ape who wants to see, he has a whole staff of people who monitors the press to find anything that's been said about him so that he can either fire back or praise the fool who praised him. The ape returned fire the next day, accusing John Lewis of, quote, falsely complaining about the election results, end quote. And then the ape questioned John Lewis's leadership. The ape said this, quote, Congressman John Lewis should spend more time on fixing and helping his district, which is in horrible shape and falling apart, rather than falsely complaining about the election results. All talk, 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 no action or results. Sad, end quote. That's what this orange piece of human waste said about John Lewis. His district is in horrible shape and falling apart. Atlanta? John Lewis's district includes Emory University and the CDC and the Carter Center and the explosive growth, which I don't particularly care for, of Atlanta as the capital city of the South. With you filthy, dirty man, you orange ape. Anyway, after he made those ridiculous statements, there was just a flood of messages from people who live in the 5th Congressional District here, which is majority African American and home to wealthy areas like the Buckhead area, they call it, the neighborhood here in Atlanta, which is where the governor's mansion is. It's a very upscale neighborhood. The world's busiest airport is in John Lewis's district. I mentioned the CDC. Anyway, it's just the squirmy little. I've got poopy pants on, so I'm in a bad mood. My mommy won't change my poopy pants, so I'm going to lash out at somebody who is 100 times a better human being than I am. That's what Trump does, doesn't he? He just walks around with his poopy pants. Jesus Christ.
Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcasts. You have your choice. You can listen to The Ranting with the audio podcast or listen and watch me lose control with a video podcast subscription. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com. And never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.